Hey techies, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into JavaScript loops. Loops are essential tools in programming. They let us repeat actions in our code without rewriting the same line of code over and over. Imagine you need to do a task like printing out numbers from 1 to 10. You'd have to write 10 lines of code to print that out, but that's a lot of work. Loops helps us to undo repetitive tasks easily and efficiently. So let's dive into an example. So there are three types of loops in JavaScript. We have the for loop, the while loop, and the do while loop. So we're going to go over the first one, which is the for loop. Let's dive into the for loop. This loop is best when you know exactly how many times you want to repeat a task. Let's start with the for keyword. This tells JavaScript that we're about to start a for loop. So I have for followed by parentheses and followed by a curly braces. The next thing will be initialization. We're going to declare a variable I and set it to 0. So let I equals 0. Start the counter at 0. I is commonly used as a counter in loop. And this part only runs once. That's before the loop begins. So the next thing will be the condition. So I have I less than 5. This condition decides how many times the loop runs. And the loop will continue to run as long as the condition is true. That is, as long as I is less than 5. The next thing would be the increment. That's the final thing, would be the increment. So for each iteration, I is going to be increased by 1. And this helps us come closer to the end of the loop. So I have I plus plus. I mean, they have to be together though. Inside of the curly braces, we're going to decide on the action, either to print the console or to print to our web page. So in this case, we're going to print to our console. So I have console.log I. You can see that we have 0 to 5 printed out. Next up is the while loop, which is useful if you don't know exactly how many times you want the loop to run. Just continue to run as long as a condition is met. The first thing would be initialization. Let's declare a variable I and set it to 5. So let I equals 5. The same thing we did in the for loop. We started the counter at 0 outside of the loop. So we have the while keyword. This tells JavaScript to start a while loop and continue to run as long as a condition is met. So I have while, followed by parentheses, followed by a curly braces. The next thing would be the condition. So I have I less than 10. This is a condition that JavaScript checks each time the loop runs, and it continues to run as long as the condition is true, as long as I is less than 10. Inside of the curly braces, that's when I'm going to perform the action and then add my increment. So I'm going to console.log I, and then I'm going to be adding the increment. So I plus plus. This helps us come to the end of the loop. So if I check this, I have 5 to 9 printed out. Now let's discuss the do while loop. This loop is different because it runs at least once, even if the condition is false initially. We are going to start with initialization as usual. We're going to declare a variable y and set it to 10. It means start counter at 10. So let y equals 10. The next thing would be the do keyword. This tells JavaScript to execute the code inside of the curly braces immediately. So I have do followed by curly braces. The next thing would be the loop body. which is the do block. So I either have my action and my increment. So I have console.log y followed by my increment. After that, we have the while keyword and the condition. So we have while y less than 15. After running the loop body once, JavaScript checks if the condition is true. That is, it keeps checking if y is less than 15. If it is, the loop continues to run, and if not, it stops. So let's run this. I have 10 to 14 printed out. If you enjoyed this tutorial, do not forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you.